Hello, this is Matthew with Kalashnikov USA. We're going to go through your basic field trip and maintenance of your 7.62 base firearms. This applies to your 103, 104, or any variant thereof. First, we want to go ahead and begin. Make sure the firearm is clear and ready for maintenance. So go ahead and remove your safety, pull back in the charging handle, and verify chamber and mag well is free of any ammunition. From there, we can begin. Same as our 9 and our 12 gauge, you want to go ahead and press in on the recoil spring and then pull up on your top cover to go ahead and relieve it from the system. To remove your recoil spring, you want to go ahead and just press forward, up and out. And with the bolt carrier group, just go ahead and pull back, up and out. Simple as that. For maintenance of this, you want to go ahead and remove the bolt as well. There's a cam channel on it, so go ahead and press back on it and rotate, and it'll come right out. It's not needed, but if you wish to remove your gas tube, it's the same as a 9. Just go ahead and you can use, a lot of times the weapon's well broken in, just go ahead and use your hands. You can pull it up as is. And if it's not, if it's being stubborn, you can use the little tab here on your gas tube latch on the rail of your bolt carrier group. Go ahead and lock it in, get leverage, and you go ahead and pop it out. Again, same as the 9. There's a cam profile on the gas tube latch. You want to get that nice and flat so that the gas tube has no obstruction during the removal process. So once it's nice and flat, you should be able to pull it right out. From here, you can go ahead and service the rest of the weapon. If it has pretty foul carbon fouling on it or buildup that's been dried on for a long time, you might want to use some break free or any kind of solvent to help break up the carbon. Once you have that applied, just go ahead and start with your brush and just start cleaning the system. You can start with the bolt carrier or the rails. It doesn't matter. Just go ahead and get everything clean. Typically, anywhere you see rare is the areas you want to focus on. That's the areas that's going to get the most contact. Just go ahead and get it, but get it all or as needed. Bullet guide, the feed ramp with the barrel. Go ahead and get everything, the locking lugs on the trunnion, rails, anywhere you see it's needed. Go ahead and get it clean. If you wish, you can also use a rag. If it's a lot of it in there, you need to get it out. Go ahead and start scrubbing it out. Go ahead and continue with the rest of the components, the major components. Get into the rails, especially anywhere you see high contact areas. Those are the areas that are the most friction. So you want to go and make sure those are thoroughly clean. The cam channel, rails, bolt, where it rides on the bolt. The breech face of the bolt is actually pretty important. Underneath the extractor, try and get inside the tooth of the extractor if you can. From here, we're going to go ahead and service the barrel. And that's a pretty simple process, much like the other processes for the 12 and the 9. A brass or bronze brush is recommended, and a mop. You can use a two mop process, one that's dry and one that's oiled. I just skip it and I go straight to an oiled mop and just go ahead and call it. Go ahead and get your cleaning rod. Start with your brass or bronze brush. I typically like to do a minimum of 3 passes. You'll know if you need more, especially if you're shooting suppressed, you'll definitely need more. And same as a 9, be careful when inserting your cleaning rod. If you go too far, too hard, you will crash into the ejector fin, which will damage your cleaning utensils and diminish the lifespan of them. So if you want these to last longer, just go nice and slow so you don't crash into anything. Go back in with your mop. This is already pre-oiled. I already soaked this in bore oil. And go ahead and minimum 3 passes. From there, we're going to go ahead and put your gas tube back on. Again, confirm that the gas tube latch, the cam profile is nice and flat for easy installation of the gas tube. Go ahead and reinstall it. And same process for the 9. If you have trouble reinstalling your gas tube, there's a couple of tricks for the people that are still learning this process. One, again, make sure the cam profile, the gas tube lever is nice and flat. And it helps a lot with some people that are still learning this process to go ahead and relieve the spring on the gas tube latch. Just go ahead and push it in, and it'll help you drop the gas tube right in. Once it's snapped in, maintain pressure down so it doesn't bounce back out, and go ahead and lock your gas tube. If the gas tube latch is stubborn and doesn't want to go down, brand new rifles typically are going to be that way. They do break in. Again, you can use the rail system on your bolt carrier, lock it into the gas tube latch, get leverage, and lock it in. From here, we're going to go ahead and reassemble the bolt carrier group. There is a cam channel. Along with a cam on your bolt, you have this is the front profile of the bolt. You have the right locking lug, left locking lug, and cam. The cam is what's going to ride in the cam channel of the bolt, or in the carrier. So go ahead and insert it. Go ahead and rotate so it engages the cam channel, and press forward, and it's in a full forward position on the bolt on the carrier. From here, we're going to go ahead and oil it you can refer to your owner's manual for the oil points on the bolt carrier group assembly. Again, typically anywhere you see shine or polishing of the metal is where you want to oil. That's where you have friction, and friction requires oil. So definitely on the cam in area, the bolt, locking lugs, rails, cam channel, again rails on the carrier, and where the bolt rides inside the cam channel, or in the bolt channel there. From there, go ahead and reinsert it. Go ahead and insert the piston first into the rifle. There is relief cuts right here in the rails of the receiver. That's relief cuts for the bolt carrier grip to drop in, so that's where you want to drop it in. Now with the 103 762 platform, you are going to have the hammer pushing up on the bolt, so it won't just push forward easily. What you're going to do is you need to overcome spring pressure. So once it's dropped in, you need to push down, overcome that hammer spring. Once it's pressed down all the way, it will slide right forward. I'll do that again. Go ahead and get it lined up with the grooves inside the receiver rails. Press down to overcome the hammer spring. Once it's fully pressed down, it will slide right forward. One more time. Bolt. Drop it right in to the grooves of the receiver. Press down and forward. From here, we're going to reinstall your recoil spring assembly. Put it inside the channel of the bolt or the carrier. You have some grooves in the back of your rear block and some tabs on the back of the recoil spring assembly. You want to go ahead and engage those two so they lock into each other. So you want to go forward, line them up, drop it in, and it should lock right in, should not come out. Lastly is your top cover, same as the 12 gauge. You want to start with the front of the top cover. There is a groove in the back of the rear sight base. Go ahead and insert it there. Maintain pressure forward into that groove. And we want to overcome the spring pressure of your recoil spring in order to lock it in. So again, maintain the pressure forward, press down firmly, and it should lock right in. From this point, we're going to perform a safety function check on the firearm, make sure it's ready for use. So we want to go ahead and begin with charging the system. Pull the trigger, hold the trigger, charge the system again, and release the trigger. You should have a proper reset there. You want to repeat this at least 3 times to make sure everything is correctly working. So go ahead, pull it. Now we're going to go ahead and perform a safety check. Lock it in the safe, depress and hold the trigger down, and slowly come down on the safety till the hammer drops. That is a good location for your hammer to drop. From here, you want to go ahead and maintain pressure back. Go back on the carrier again. The hammer should not have dropped from this point. It should now, the trigger should be properly reset with no hammer drop in. No hammer drop. This is a functionally perfect firearm and ready for use. And that will complete your maintenance and disassembly of the 103 762 platform.